Hi, this is BSA Riskard Huntsman. This is a 3v4 on Savoy Hilltop against AA Clan. On my team, I have playing alongside me, because I don't think we have our real names, is Z Bishop and Krasnikov. So, we're all just moving up, sort of running up the hill, which is basically what you do on Savoy Hilltop, sort of move up and move out and attack. The fighting starts with an early cab charge from one of our opponents' cavalry units coming to attack Krasnikov's artillery. Kras manages to turn around and get a counter-attack against the cavalry, and the AA clan members move their cavalry back and pull it out of harm's way. The rest of our guys are still moving up the hill. I mean, my units are exhausted, their units are exhausted. It's a very steep hill, it's very tiring to run up. I can't really say I'd like to do it myself, but anyway. Kras has a few units down in the bottom of the woods there, as you can see here now. He puts it running square. It's going to also, there's two ways of looking at this. You could either say it was a waste of 2 units, or it enabled us to stall them from being able to move up from underneath us, because I do believe that they probably would have used that cavalry. I mean, and also we do get rid of this cavalry, which is also less cavalry that they're able to move up from underneath us. That was basically what I just showed there, was basically the formation that I was moving into. Austria are nearly in position, I'm nearly in position, we're pretty matched out like that. Our opponents, both, amongst them all, I counted at the start of the game, they had 26 cavalry units. So they had an awful lot of cavalry advantage over us, which they did put to good use, but that's later on in the battle. Z's sort of set up, his artillery moves slow. Our opponents didn't actually quite get to understand the rule, read the rules correctly, because we basically set the rules at no fixed start, max 5 lights and no Ottomans, because I mean, it's hard enough playing these games without people doing melee spams and stuff. So we just, if you take away Ottomans the way we see it, then they can't do it, basically. I mean, because we've had people that, before now that have gone against our, even when we said like maybe say max 3 melee units, they've just still melee spammed anyway, and we've even had one guy that's flag glitched to do it as well. So that was a bit annoying, but they were the rules. But they thought I think they thought it was no artillery, but I mean our artillery, to be fair, probably, I mean, yeah, it got a few kills, but it didn't actually do us as much good as as maybe they might have thought it would have done. I mean, as I'll show you much later on in the battle, that the 10-pounder Unicorn, it didn't, when it unlimbered, it was bugged, and it didn't even, we couldn't even fire it. So that, I mean, that money that was spent on that unit was just complete waste for us. So and that could have gone for a line infantry unit or something, you know. Right, so here our opponents are moving their cavalry. I mean, it's very difficult to depict, because with 3 of them being Russia, it's very difficult to depict which player is who, so I do apologise for that. So they were moving their cavalry into position to attack, and here comes the attack now. I mean, that was quite clever what he did there with putting his line infantry in square, because he can't really shoot them back, and it stops Krasnikov being able to charge his men. So that was quite a very clever move. Along Krasnikov's front line here it's basically all militia, and some of these units are militia. Um, Crash takes some pretty bad hits to his lights. His militia stand very, very well. We all how well the militia stood against all that cavalry and men and Russian line infantry coming into melee. So they're pushing up from the bottom, they're getting pushed out from all sides, and when I'll flick to the top in a second, and you'll see that they've started, basically they put the attack across the whole field. They're moving up all the way across. I mean, the attack sort of came in a little bit before, hit the bottom end a little bit before it hit my end, but they're going pushing right across the board. I pull my light infantry, which were in the trees there. I'm running back down to the bottom of the hill because there's no point. I just didn't see any point in keeping that light infantry in the trees there with all that, because as soon as it gets into melee, it's going to get routed very quickly. So the best idea for me was to pull back, stick some line infantry in there, square it up, because there's Austrian cavalry coming through there as well, and there's going to be Russian cavalry coming through there as well. And so I've got my light infantry out of there. I'm going to put it to use somewhere else. I'm sending in the Dutch Lancer. Z's firing off a canister shot at these guys, and he manages to get quite a few kills, and it's also excellent for diminishing their morale. As you can see, I mean, it does something, especially them laid out like that. It's going to get some pretty good kills. So I've got an old guard there firing, I've got Polish there, I've got Swiss there. I spread my old guard out a little bit. I had men that were at the bottom, well, in the centre, should I say, to help Z support as well, but I was forced to pull them out to deal with the absolute multitude of men that were coming with me from the top. As you're at the bottom here, you can see, I mean, their attack was very good, very well timed. And it was just, I mean, there's not much more you can say. It was a very good attack, but at the same time, we had a very good defence. So. Right, that Austrian cavalry was very persistent. I tried pulling my old guard back so I could get it into square. I probably would have been able to save quite a lot of more men of my old guard if I'd actually managed to form square, but he just managed to get like a couple of cavalrymen mixed into my line, and I was unable to form square, and he just kept pushing for my old guard. I mean, my old guard, it's old guard at the end of the day. They are going to stand for a while. They do have a little bit of support coming from that cavalry unit there, but they're just pushing forward. They're going heavy melee, trying to back it up with line units to fire on our men as well. So I mean, their plan was pretty good and pretty well thought out. I mean, like, look at it. I mean, like, if once they're in melee, our guys are unable to fire back. So I mean, it's a pretty good idea. I mean, look at it, exactly the same thing that's happening down the bottom is happening at the top, sending guys into melee, backing it up with line infantry so they can fire in where we're unable to fire. But because of how I had my line set up, and Krashnikov and Z had the line set up, we had it backed up, and backed up in rows, so whenever they were hitting the front, there was always our guys able to hit their guys that they were sending into melee. So I mean, we are hitting our own guys as well, but they are hitting their own guys as well. So it was kind of, but they have the advantage because they have the advantage in numbers, and I mean, it was a real pain in the backside with our 10-pounder unicorn not firing, and also, I mean, after I was speaking to Z, and he said it was about 10 minutes. He unpacked there. He doesn't know why, but there was about the 2 20-pounder unicorns that he did take. It was about 10 minutes after he unpacked and unlimbered them that they started firing, and it was just we lost out on a lot of time of being able to actually fire the unicorns anyway as well. So Right, so Austria is basically sort of beaten off. A lot of my army, especially at the top, has been pretty badly battered or routed. And as you can see from the mini-map, you've got guys routing all over the place. Basically, sort of my top, sort of best units are the only ones that are left, and I've got a couple of chasseurs, but because I decided to move them away from this side of the battlefield, that's the only reason why I'd probably imagine why they're still alive, to be fair. So I mean, with the still like the multitude of men that they did throw at us, we did have to keep pulling back. Couldn't push forward like we wanted to. Z's just sending a couple of units into melee here against his guys, against our opponents. Really was a pleasure playing against these guys as well. They were very good players, very well mannered. There was no bad talking, and it was really like, it was an epic. But I mean, I've got to say, out of all of the games I've been playing this game since the day it came out. Out of all the games I've ever played, this is definitely in the top 5 of the games that I've played, easily. So we're taking out some of their generals now, which is how we can have a morale effect on the men. Austria I think is all nearly finished. It's got a few units still going. My brave unit is about to rout, trying to take out that Russian general. I think he loses his general in the process now, or just has, which is not good too good for us, really. Right, this is a sort of sort of breather from the bottom. Kras was just had to pull back because it was like just so many men, but he's Z and Kras, both of them together, have basically taken out an awful, just a load of their men as well. So whereas they've been badly hit, our opponents have been badly hit too. Kras was able to send some units up to help support up here because there wasn't much longer that I could hold out on my own. Because apart from I think maybe a cav unit of Z's, I was pretty much holding the top against the players that were attacking there on my own. But it was difficult for us all across the board because we're being attacked from the like left, middle and right. So just try and hold and get as many kills as you possibly could and position your men as best you could. And dealing with Russian melee as well is an absolute nightmare. Our opponents see that I had my chasseurs there, so he's charging his line of chasseurs. I leave one in melee just to hold the lifeguard there in place, and I pull the other one out. I know I'm going to lose one of my chasseur units, but that means that I can pull, I can save one at least, rather than just leaving them both there and losing both. I still have my old guard. I basically have 2 chasseur units, and my general, and a depleted old guard unit. We're all running very low on men now. Beginning to run low on ammunition. That's the last unit of Austria that was there, and that just got routed away. So he's trying to knock out another general. His artillery, but it's not going to be long now before that, because I mean we just didn't have enough men to be able to hold off that part of the wood. so they're able to push up through there and start hitting actually hitting our artillery now. And we're just trying, basically what we're trying to do is clear out all the units that are above us on the top side of the map, and so we can turn to face the units that are on in the trees at the bottom. So they've got some really good. But they have got some really good infantry in there. They've got Lifeguard, they've got Semenovsky, and those guys are absolutely mean in melee. I believe my old guard has routed, or is about to rout. So basically I've just got a general unit and my chasseur unit. Z's in melee down here with one of our opponent's units, and he's also trying to get some firing on our opponent as well while they're in melee. Crash is melee in whichever units you can, because they've run out of ammo as well. Just trying to run my chasseur unit away so I can try and save it, because I do still have a few rounds left to be able to make some use of like firing on our opponent. I'm going to charge my general in to help out that musketeer unit of Russian musketeer unit to help get that unit routed. I'll check just here. Managed to get a couple of shots off there with my chasseur and take out a general there, so that was another good thing for us. Just more melee, and more melee. Right, that Russian unit's going to rout very soon. I'm going to try and get some firing on there as well. As you can see, it's just routed, but that other unit is a Semenovsky and is better than a musketeer in melee. But went into each had a little fight with the foot guards, and the foot guards managed to beat the Semenovsky off. So this is like the bout of, since the first like real proper engagement started, this is the first sort of real breathing space where we can sort of look back, like sit back, think, right, God, what we got left, what can we do, what has he got left, and see what the real situation was, and take a bit of breathing space. After assessing the situation, we decided to pull back up the hill, because he still had a a very high, it was sort of near full unit of Semenovsky still. He still had a Lifeguard with about 70 men or so left. He had a militia, still had his general, and a light infantry, 2 light infantry units. Whereas we basically had two light infantry units, a militia and a couple of line infantry. So the plan was, because the way he positioned his militia there, the plan was to move out on the left to engage those guys so they didn't move up, and where he put his general, the plan was for me to Crash to pull out like he's doing now. I'm going to charge straight through, hit the militia, and carry on going and try and get the general, because the way we sort of saw it, our best chance of winning here, and only real chance, was to charge through and get that general and try and kill the general, because hopefully then maybe that could cause a chain rout. It's going to have a morale penalty on his men. It could like swing the battle our way, because I mean, although it was slightly even, that he did have the advantage with that near full Semenovsky unit there, and also the lifeguard 70 men. That was quite a big thing that was going his way. So he pulls his general away. I have to run mine away because I don't want to get shot at from the square. But he's going to charge his general back down and meet me in the woods and fight out. We're going to fight it out in the woods. The general and general. Krasnozhye managed to get a few shots off. Right, down here in the woods, bearing in mind I've just given my general an inspire. I still managed to lose my general. I killed one of his men, and even though he didn't have the charge bonus because he charged the trees, I didn't quite get that. I didn't quite understand why I weren't able to kill at least like a few more of his men. I only killed one man. It was a bit frustrating. So at this point we're pretty much not left with not much else we can do. We've run out of my light infantry. Basically my chasseur unit has just run out of ammo. We're all basically just run out of ammunition, so we're just going to charge. We're just putting this charging on this Semenovsky, and but I mean, like, we know we're not going to win. We have no generals left. So that's basically the game, guys. We did lose. It was very close. It was a very, very good game, which is exactly the exact reason why I posted it. I enjoyed it immensely, and I'd like to say good game to AA, and thank you for playing. Would love to do this again another time maybe, and cheers to you guys for watching. Please rate, comment and subscribe. The battle is just about to finish, and yeah, please rate, comment and subscribe. Let me know what you think. Your comments and points always help me to make better videos, and it's just always good to know what you guys are thinking. So I'll should have another video up again soon. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again soon, guys.